Now some disturbing video to show you. A group of angry protesters showing up outside of Mitch McConnell's house in Kentucky this weekend. The Senate Majority Leader was reportedly inside, recovering from a broken shoulder when this happened.
Murder turtle! Murder turtle! Mitch, we know you're home!
You, your wife, everything you stand for.
Hopefully somebody out there with some voodoo dolls in these.
Yeah, you know somebody is. That's probably what it is. Just stab the in the heart, please.
Yes, that is what she said. And Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro is coming under fire today for posting the names and employers of Trump donors in San Antonio to social media. The post accusing the people of, quote, fueling a campaign of hate that labels Hispanic immigrants as invaders. That seems like a dangerous thing to do, Greg.
I believe so, but this is what happens when rhetoric is actually tied to actions. There's an old saying, a conservative thinks a liberal is wrong, but a leftist thinks a conservative is evil. So once you expand this target of demonization, if you aren't part of the resistance, then you are against the resistance, and that justifies any kind of this behavior. The Castro campaign, I mean, they are basically normalizing doxing and intimidation tactics. And will they have blood on their hands? There are people that are going to do this to you and to us at some point.
Yeah.
Because we will be demonized.
I've been there. And by the way, look, we know that every major donor over $200, their names are published. In fact, I learned over the weekend all of Donald Trump's major supporters in Louisiana. Donald Trump has raised over $690,000 compared to all of the Democrats. They've only raised less than $400,000. And so I'm reading this story, and all of a sudden I read the names of all of the Donald Trump donors. Now, did I run the social media and say, hey, X, I'm not going to use your shipyard, or hey, well, I'm not coming to your grocery store? No. This is a tactic that people are using in this quote-unquote polarized environment to sort of call people out. I think it's the wrong way to do it, but that's what's happening.
There's one of the reasons, Jesse, that the Supreme Court has protected donations through the Citizens United case, basically saying that you can donate anonymously so that you don't have to end up like this. People don't want to do that. It's your right to donate to a campaign, but it might be your right to privacy as well if this is going to happen.
Right. I guess we're for less transparency now because it's safer. No, I mean, look, and they're doxing contributors to the president. And then on the other hand, they're saying, and by the way, disarm.
Right.
So they're inciting violence against an individual and then say, you know what, don't be able to protect yourself when people show up outside your home like they did to Mitch McConnell. Imagine if MAGA hat-wearing supporters surrounded Nancy's palace in San Francisco and chanted the things they chanted. Every single senator and congressman would be confronted by a media member and said, you have to condemn. You have to condemn this. Will you condemn? It would be all over the headlines. It would be all over the network news cycle. And this is being buried. And this is dangerous. And I think it's going to lead to violence because at some point, someone's going to come out with a weapon when someone trespasses and threatens them in their house.
What do you think about the protest at McConnell's house, Katie?
Look, situations like that never tend to end well. People who have been doxxed have been killed as a result of the police going to the wrong house. So there are serious violent consequences for this. Mitch McConnell called the police. I hope that all the people who were chanting murder were interviewed and asked if they have intentions and investigated for wanting to assassinate the majority leader of the Senate. But these mob mentality shows of force, of people showing up at people's private homes, is nothing new. The left has been doing this for 20, 30 years. I think just now it's been amped up as they've been justified in doing it, and people haven't condemned it as Donna has done, which is a good thing. But they think it's justified because if it's a white supremacist in the House, then of course they're allowed to show up and call for their assassination.
And it can be scary, Donna, right? I mean,
oh my God! I mean, let me just say this: I have protection as a result of just giving my opinion in the public sphere.
Me too.
But
it's a little different, probably.
And it's not easy to live in this way, whether you're in a mansion or a palace or even just walking around. This is unacceptable behavior. But let me just say something about I used to lead protests in my youth. And the one thing, nonviolent protests, which is very important. And I counsel people how to do this to abide by the law, stay on the sidewalk, not throw, not use bullhorns and all this. We've seen protests now from Hong Kong to San Juan, Puerto Rico. where, you know, everyday citizens are out there protesting government action. But we should do it in a nonviolent way, because one of the things that separate us from the other civilized world, we have laws to protect people to protest. But to go out in front of a person's house, it's just
places like Media Matters, and there was another guy, I can't think of his name, it was Dan Pfeiffer, I'm not sure. These are people and groups who are saying that Fox News.
But
Fox News.
He was communications director for President Obama.
Yeah, and these are people that are saying Fox News is actually an engine of white supremacy. So what they're doing is they're painting a target on us. And I saw Joey Jones on Twitter basically saying that he's going to sit at his house, he's going to protect his family, and he's going to hope that these kinds of this expanding target of demonization doesn't end up sending somebody crazy to his house.
But remember, journalists are always targeted, and we have to protect journalists as well.
Joey's not. I mean, Joey's a guy at home.
And Joey knows how to protect himself.
Yeah, I think he's got more guns.
Check him out, Joey Jones, indeed.